One guy's hair transplant journey. Today we're going to be talking about a guy who I came across on YouTube. I'm going to show you this video because it gives a very honest and frank account of the hair transplants that he went through, and he doesn't sugarcoat anything. He just gives a very, very honest account of it all, which is why I want you guys to see this. It's not all sunshine and rainbows. It's very expensive, but it's better to hear it out of the horse's mouth rather than people who haven't had a hair transplant. Obviously, I advocate hair systems. I'm wearing one right now. It's the non-invasive way to get hair back on your head. I've negotiated a 15% discount with LaVivid, Adam15. You can check it out in my description box. Please do avail of that. It can save you like $50, $60. So to preface this video a little bit, this guy, he'd been through minoxidil, he'd done finasteride, he'd done actually both at the same time, and he found that they just weren't working for him. And that's when he started considering hair transplants. So let's join the video at that point.
Actually, without a lot of research, really. It was maybe 1 month researching simply clinics in, I used to live in Vienna, so it was Austria and then Turkey. I was considering like 2 countries. Austria was kind of expensive and they didn't do like big. And got a, Turkish job, which was, average at best.
So this is kind of what you can expect with a hair transplant. It's very red at first. There's lots of blood. It generally sheds after a couple of weeks, and then over time, up to about a year, it kind of slowly grows back. And you can see it looks okay. It is quite thin still. It is quite thin still at the front, as you can see. There's some gaps there.
In Turkey, but it was kind of thick and full, and I started seeing myself in a totally different light. I was super confident, everything It was a good period, which gave me a lot of boost. But of course, over time, I started noticing some issues, and once I started visiting new doctors, better doctors, they're like, Matt, okay, these doubles, I don't like this. I could fix this for you,
And as he said there, I mean, we could see it in the first photo. There's a lot of thin hair at the front, and you can see it's already thinning, even more than it was. So this was after one transplant, which would have cost several £1,000s, even more in dollars. So it's really important to consider that aspect, that yes, you can have a hair transplant, but it's unlikely that you'll just need one, and the costs really, really accrue.
So I got it fixed over time, and then of course now it's looking better because of that. But what happened in the meantime?
And you can see what they clearly did. They started doing some work around the crown. Again, a very bloody experience, but also recovery time is quite long. The hair has to grow through, then it sheds, and then slowly over time it comes back. It's also not guaranteed to stay. It's well known that hair around the crown isn't the best at sticking around, and quite often it just sheds completely. You can see him here. It's still a little bit thin at the front as well, even after 2 transplants. It looks a bit wispy.
But what happened in the meantime was too that my first hair transplant was actually without finasteride. So I didn't take finasteride, and I stopped using minoxidil because it wasn't helping. Yeah. So and finasteride was still already, I was aware of it, but I was afraid of side effects. I was worried. It was 24, 25. I was like,
Such a common thing with dudes suffering from hair loss is the side effects, or the fear of side effects around finasteride. I've discussed them at length on my channel before. They're way more common than what is reported. Because remember, a lot of the side effects, people don't naturally put it down to the finasteride. Quite often people might be on other medications, or maybe they're suffering with depression, which can cause lower mood. It can also cause difficulty getting an erection. The thing is that these side effects can be caused by a whole load of other things going on in your body. So a lot of the time people don't jump to the finasteride as the first logical cause.
I consider it maybe later if I lose a lot after the hair transplant. I was in that type of situation, and then I actually lost it, lost visibly after the first one, and then I had this little mid-scalp section that was thinner, and I was using
Really important. So I think this was after his first transplant. You can see how much thinning is going on there. And this is after you spent thousands to put hair back there, and it's all falling out. And, this kind of looks a bit silly.
Fibers, and that was like, okay, after a while it was already too much and I needed another surgery. So I got the second one. It was just a smaller 900 graft session, which helped. And of course, when I was getting the second one, I was already on finasteride, and that's pretty much where I am at, today. But the good
So it's really important what he mentions here about finasteride. So the reason, or one of the reasons that his hair fell out first time, he wasn't taking finasteride. When he had the second surgery, he was taking finasteride. Now, it's not medical advice, but from what a lot of people who have told me that they've had hair transplants, they were told to take finasteride alongside having the surgery because it gives the hair a much better chance of sticking around. You have that to contend with. If you want to have a hair transplant, you're probably going to be asked to take finasteride as well. And we know the massive catalogue of side effects that come with that. It's also an additional monthly cost.
good thing is that over the last 4 years, I didn't need any transplant. The hair is stable, and this is mainly thanks to finasteride.
So how long ago compared to now was your first one?
It was 7 years ago.
Okay, and
7.
I have a question. You probably can't even tell, but have you noticed in any way has the transplant changed in the last 7 years? It's a hard question to ascertain an answer to, because obviously we have native and other hair there, but I'd be curious because you did all yours by the FUE technique.
Yeah. It started looking more normal. So that was the biggest change of my transplanted hair. And then the other change, which is something that
So just rewinding a little bit as well, he literally says, I kept my hair thanks to the finasteride. So in reality, if you do decide to go the surgical route, you're very, very likely going to have to take finasteride to keep what's there. This guy's still quite young. He's already had 2 transplants. Is there a decent chance he's going to need another 1 or 2? Maybe even 3 throughout the rest of his life? Yeah, probably. So you're always going to have to either have that money set aside, or you're literally just going to have to take on debt to keep paying for these things. And for me, I'd just never be able to feel like I could relax.
their first one, they noticed it too whenever they stopped finasteride because they got side effects. And they felt that even the transplanted hair will suffer some degree of, loss of thinning, loss of thickness. It will not fall out, don't worry, but there might be, if you are more susceptible, if the genetics are not in your favor, it will not look that full as the first year after.
So that was a really good video. It was really honest, it was really frank, there was no sugarcoating, and it's good, it's refreshing to see that, because you see a lot of these hair transplant clinics in Turkey or whatever, and they're saying how great it is, you only need to go once, you'll have the required density that you want and all of this kind of stuff. Don't believe it for a second. Even with the newer FUE techniques, they're certainly not perfect, and the likelihood is that you'll have to take medication. What if you don't get on with the medication? What if you get side effects from the medication? Is the transplanted hair worth more than suffering from really severe side effects from the medication? Personally, I don't think so. And this is why, at least with the non-surgical options, you're not having to constantly save money knowing that 3, 4, 5 years from now, you're going to need another transplant. You're not going to have to keep worrying about taking finasteride every morning, or if you miss a couple of mornings, you'll start noticing some shedding. Finasteride might not even work for you once you've had your transplant. Also, you might develop side effects. The rate of side effects are way higher than what is reported. So guys, is a hair transplant something that you've been considering? Is a hair transplant something you've had? Have you had more than one? Let me know your accounts in the comments box below. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts on this. Has hair transplant technology improved over the years? Yes, FUE is way better than FUT. Is it perfect? No, far from it. Is it the one-time solution that all hair transplant clinics make you believe it is? No, absolutely not. You will very, very likely need to have 2, 3, maybe even 4. So there's some real food for thought for you guys. If you're enjoying my content, please do like this video, and please do subscribe if you're enjoying the videos that I'm making. It really helps other people find this content, and it helps grow the channel. More people can get free hair loss advice through those means. If you'd like a more in-depth account of why a lot of guys are moving from failed hair transplants to hair systems, check out this video popping up on the screen right now. It gives a real lowdown, and it gets into the meat and bones as to why people are going more and more for the non-surgical options. Take care, guys, and I'll see you next time.